I would never allow myself the opportunity to create a solution or give somebody a solution unless I knew what the problem was. How am I supposed to even consider myself a sales professional? If I'm asking you, Stephanie, to invest in this door, well, I better know why. It's crucial to understand your product, how to speak about it, more importantly, the people you're going to be sitting in front of, anticipating what their needs and wants are going to be, taking myself to a job site and watching them install these products. That way, when I'm speaking about them, it's seamless. It's easy for me because I understand kind of the nitty-gritty of it all.
And I think you, as a person selling it, should be educated on what to tell them if they have questions. And if you haven't ever been on a job site, that's impossible to do.
If you don't get out on the job site and get your shoes muddy, you're never going to learn.
Welcome to the Grit Blueprint Podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie Couch. This is the spot where leaders talk about the stories, strategies, and systems that win in the building industry. We unpack how leaders and brands build their reputations and become unmistakable. Welcome to the Grit Blueprint Podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie Couch, and today I'm actually coming to you live on scene at the Sierra Pacific Windows showroom in Denver, Colorado. And I'm really excited because I recently was introduced to someone who was an instant friend, Sarah Campbell from Sierra Pacific Windows. Welcome to the show.
Stephanie, I'm so excited to be here. And I must say, completely inspired by your brand to be dressed the way I am today.
Nailed it. I love it.
Thank
and
you.
Even added your flair with the black underneath. So it's not pink on pink on pink. And I love it. You look great.
Thank you
Crushing.
very much. You look great as always.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I am so pumped about this conversation because it's not very often that I meet someone and instantly feel like, I just felt like that's my girl when I met you. Also, you're a window and door nerd like me. You're an architectural consultant at Sierra Pacific Windows. You've been in the window business a long time, but you didn't start there. So I think your story is one of the most amazing journeys because you've really embraced starting over and just trying new things. And so I'm really excited to dig in today and talk a little bit about your history.
Okay.
But I do want to give a little intro. You started in exercise physiology. So 17 years in that space on the East Coast. So East Coast girl. What part of the East Coast?
Just outside of Boston.
Okay.
I was born in Buffalo, New York. Moved my way over to Massachusetts when I was in second grade. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Awesome. So from lobster rolls, you decided time for me to go to the West Coast.
Yep.
And you not only gave up what you were doing for 17 years to do something totally new, but moved to a new place to do it. So that takes a lot of guts.
Yeah.
You started from scratch in high pressure window sales, that one close window sale where it's like, hey, one and done, you got to close this deal. And you had no experience in that. So I want to hit on that.
Okay.
Taught yourself everything from the trade all the way from the ground up on the job site and learned your way around. And not only are you a dynamic voice in this industry, but you also are a musician and you are a drummer in a band called Night Cry.
That's correct.
So is there anything you can't do is really the question we all want to answer.
Whew, there's plenty I can't do, but with my personality, if I can't do it and I want to do it, I'm going to figure it out somehow.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I love that. Well, let's get started with the questions. Welcome to the show and thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
I want to talk about this change from exercise physiology to what you actually ended up moving here for. You moved clear across the country, kind of reinvented yourself. First of all, I mean, what started that idea of I'm going to leave everything and basically blow up your world? You kind of hit the reset button. I've done that many times myself. There's something in our personalities that make us want to do that. You land out here and you actually live in the Seattle area.
Yes.
You land in Seattle and you want to start over. What made that happen?
It's an interesting journey. I look sitting here today and knowing that the journey had some bumps along the way and some sad times, I would not have changed it for the world. To be sitting here with you and telling my story and it being compelling enough and inspiring enough to have somebody want to talk to me about it and for you guys to be listening to it. Again, knowing what I had to go through to get here, I wouldn't have changed it. So, I've been in Seattle for almost 10 years now. I moved out here with a relationship. We're still very good friends today. And big part of it was I knew in my heart of hearts, as much as I loved my career, exercise physiology, and doing what I was doing, I was really spinning my wheels. And there was something inside of me that I knew needed to get out. I needed to grow. I needed to expand. And what better way than to leave your family, leave your job that you went to school for, leave all of your friends, drive across the country with somebody that you were with, and then have to completely start over again.
Yeah. Big challenge in life that you
Huge challenge. Yes.
When you were driving across the country, tell me what you were feeling.
Ooh. There was a level of excitement. I don't think at any point I was like, what the heck am I doing? That never, and still even to this day, I've never sat back and said, oh my gosh, what am I doing? It was, I am excited for this challenge, and I know it's going to be hard and scary, but it was just about embracing this big change and knowing that I had the ability to be able to completely start fresh the way that I wanted to do it, which was
beautiful.
exciting. And I think it removed a lot of the hurdles, I think, that we slowly start to put in front of ourselves as we go through life.
Yeah, absolutely. You got here or got to Seattle, and you ended up meeting someone you told me about.
Yes.
And she was an interesting person, and you are a curious person, which I think is a really big deal to be curious. In fact, I actually think most successful people I've ever met are wildly curious. It's a huge hallmark of success. But you started asking questions. Tell me about this woman and what she did and the questions you were asking.
Yeah. So her name's Bridget, still one of my best friends today. She's an extremely talented real estate agent, and she's got a real good it factor to her. She was working for a window and door company in home sales. And I met her out one night. She was like one of the first friends that I made, and just started asking her, what do you do for work? And she was telling me she was, getting her leads for the next day. I'm like, what does that mean? Leads? Like I had no idea, no sales speak whatsoever. Leads. And she says, well, I sell windows. And I thought she meant like the application for the computer, because we were in Seattle.
Yeah.
And I was like, windows? And she's like, yeah, the ones you open and close. And I was like, that's actually a job? And she goes, yeah, it's actually a really good job. So I finally stopped myself and said, this is your night off. You probably don't want to be talking about what you do for work, but she was okay letting me know about kind of the day in and day out. And to be honest, the money. I mean, it's good money. If you can get into commission sales and be sharp at it and be curious, you will do really well for yourself.
Yeah.
And this aha moment came over me where I had left a job that, I was doing well, but I knew I could be earning more. And how can I make more money? And to say that out loud, in this world is, I think you have to own the fact that you want to excel financially.
Yeah.
And how do you do that? Well, be extraordinary at what you do, right? And it will follow. So long story short, I was working for Estee Lauder, the makeup company, and I was like, I got to get out of this job.
Yeah.
As much as I loved the brand and I loved my customers and the people, it wasn't for me. So she got me an interview, and they pretty much said, you've got the job, you just have to get through the training. And I was like, what does that mean? 6 weeks later, I learned everything I needed to know about motivating customers to feel confident with a high-end purchase. More importantly, why they should be going with us, going with myself. And there's a lot of lessons. As much as I don't work for that company or in that aspect of windows and doors, it taught me a lot about myself and how to stand tall in front of a homeowner, a perfect stranger, and in 2 hours motivate them to make a big decision about their home.
How important do you think in training in general for sales, whether it's window and door sales or not, is that first 90 days and the training or lack thereof?
Yes.
Because a lot of times there is very little training. How important is that to the success of the rep long term?
I think personally for me, training, because I'm formerly a trainer. My exercise physiology job was training people. So having that knowledge of a trainer now being trained and the importance of that, I think within the first 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, it's crucial to understand your product, the process, how to speak about it, more importantly, the people you're going to be sitting in front of, anticipating what their needs and wants are going to be, creating questions surrounding those needs and wants. You can tell yourself all day long, you're going to practice. You're going to stand in front of the mirror. You're going to do your company story. You're going to know your products inside and out. It's so different when you get into the field on that day. What the training does in practicing and being in it is it's something that is running in your background, you know, and we can equate this to our background in music. We're both musicians. So knowing your music and having it memorized is much like your sales process.
Yeah.
So then when you step onto the stage, you can perform.
Right. You're not thinking about the technical aspects.
Exactly. The technical aspects are there and it takes time. So I would say it's crucial to have a strong training program. And if you're out there in the field of construction and maybe the manufacturers that you're representing or the companies that you're working for, they have a decent training program, take it a next step and take it upon yourself to maybe ask the questions like, what more can I learn, or what do I want to get out of this training, and bring it to your peers, bring it to your supervisors.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that as things continue to grow with different types of products and these doors are getting bigger and there's so many questions that are very technical, but you said something earlier and your whole background, really, it goes back to that curiosity.
Yes.
It's about knowing how to ask the right questions to that consumer or even the contractor if you're doing B2B sales. Maybe it's an architect like you talk to all the time. Those people have questions and you need to understand how to sell to them. Tell me, how do you get that out of people? Because a lot of times they come in thinking, I need this because my door's rotten. I need this because my windows are leaking. But a lot of times the solution includes a lot of things that are more deep than that. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way to put it. You know, I would always frame it in my past window life to my present window life, which are both very different things, but I would never allow myself the opportunity to create a solution or give somebody a solution unless I knew what the problem was, right? How am I supposed to earn any sort of trust, or how am I supposed to even consider myself a sales professional? If I'm asking you, Stephanie, to invest in this door, well, I better know why.
Yeah.
You know, is it because you're a big entertainer and you need this door to open up completely? How do you want the door to open? Do you want it to hide? Do you want it to pocket? Do you have pets? Do you have children? What's the daily use of this product, right? And even those are digging a little bit deeper into what your needs and wants are from your customer. But then again, you would even have people that are like, I can't stand the store. What can't you stand about? I hate the store. What do you hate about it? When you start to really spend time with it, it's like, I'm cold. My kids are always sick. This is where we do our homework at the table, and I can feel drafts, and I just hate this door. Well, you're never going to find out that it has something to do with the performance of the door unless you're asking.
Yeah.
When we're working with contractors and we're working with architects, a lot of the time it's, for architects, I like to motivate them to really take their designs up to the next level. If there's something that you're wanting or needing, ask me. Know that this is customizable. We can get these products on your projects.
Yeah, that's one of the things about Sierra Pacific Windows that really blew me away when we started working together with them. 50 colors, not custom colors, 50 colors.
Standard. Your colors stay.
And then you can do anything, you know, custom, but just a lot of different options. And so you can really, even with the doors, like we said, go larger than you would ever imagine and taller than you would ever imagine, and 8 panels on some of these doors. It's insane what's available there. So really giving people what they want. You told me when we were talking before this about a story about a lady and she was worried about something with her security. And we kind of talked a little bit about this, how we all feel like we're really logical purchasers. We want to tell ourselves that, I know I'm not a logical purchaser because I'm an easy sell, especially when it's something I like. If it's pink, I'm obviously done.
Sure.
If it's dog related, like today I got an email from BarkBox for the 5th time this week, and I'm like, I feel like my dog needs this upgrade on her BarkBox. Well, I've already upgraded the BarkBox. Like, what is wrong with me? I'm an
Yes.
emotional buyer because I'm
Sure.
connected to the dog. I think everyone is. Data shows that.
Done.
Talk to me a little bit about that. How do you sell less features and benefits, because they are important, but they're not the only thing, and more of that emotional connection, solving those things that maybe aren't so logical?
Yeah, that's actually, I just kind of had like a spark of genius when you were explaining it, where I haven't actually slowed down to think about this. You know, when I got started in windows and door sales, we didn't have a lot of Instagram targeted ads. Like it was out there, but it was more just for fun pictures and picture sharing.
Yeah.
Now on a daily basis, we're getting bombarded with things that we think that we need. And if we don't have it, then we're going to miss out on something.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good reminder when we're working with architects, builders, even our homeowners, whatever aspect, you know, our listeners out there are working in. Is slow down enough. Don't think about, oh, this window is big or this window opens like this. In the instance we had shared together, I had a homeowner that lived alone. She was highly concerned with security, but more importantly, if she was in a situation where she needed to get out, how would she do that? Well, I all of a sudden it like hit me like a ton of bricks. This woman doesn't care about this window other than how she's going to get out in the case of a fire or something that may or may never happen. I said, well, this slider, when you open it and you push the sash in and you pull it down, that sash is going to come out and it's going to create a nice big opening for you to get out. And you could just see her body relax. She knew, I am going to be safe with this window. And she purchased.
Yeah. And you never know, like maybe her house burned down when she was a little girl. Maybe she's watched too many 911 shows.
Something.
You don't know.
You don't know.
It's something intrinsic that's driving that, but you would have never have assumed that probably would have even been a risk that she's thinking of, but it was her number one factor.
Yes.
So we always have to solve, and I like to think about it as almost like a doctor, and you said this a minute ago. You wouldn't want a doctor to walk in and look at you and be like, looks like you have high blood pressure. Here's a prescription.
Yeah.
You want them to at least take some measurements, right? To look at things, to ask some questions, to talk to you about what you've tried and what you haven't tried. And it much like that trainer, you don't want to just prescribe without asking. So I think that's the best sales advice I've ever been given is don't be the person who walks in with a prescription pad without ever asking the right questions to know what really needs to be diagnosed.
Yeah, I think that's a great reminder and a great way to look at it too, is, you know, just be humble, you know, assume nothing.
Yeah, that's
right?
so true.
And be curious.
Just when I think I've got it figured out, I'm reminded that I don't.
Same girl.
Or the game changes, you know?
Yep.
Especially with the products and stuff, it's always changing. Well, one of the things that you told me I thought were really great ideas for a younger salesperson that has no sales experience and also no technical experience in a highly technical process. So windows and doors can be screwed up in about a million different ways. If you're not sure, you can start asking the questions, and you can write down how many questions you have to ask. And if you just get one of those wrong, the window package or the door package is not going to fit or it's not going to be correct. So you had a way to solve that problem to really get good at the technical aspect, and you started going to job sites.
Oh, yeah.
So when you started in your sales job, you had that 6-week training, and then after that, you said on your slow days where you didn't have as much of sales calls and stuff, you would go out. So tell me a little bit about your experience there.
Yeah, thanks for that reminder. It's actually, I was just talking about that today with a couple people that we have, you know, here in Denver, and we're doing some training with. And yeah, there were some slower sales days, and I live in Seattle. It's rainy, it's cold. It's not the nicest to be on job sites. It didn't matter. I bundled up. I took pizza to the job site or snacks, and I just asked the installers, I said, I'm going to stay out of your way. I may take some videos. I might ask some questions. But really what I wanted to understand was the install process. I came from a replacement background, and it was like, if I'm going to prescribe a specific window and talk about a window, well, I would like to know how to install a window. So I learned everything about, what's behind the scenes. Is there rotting on this window? Has that carried into the walls? How's the framing looking? Is the framing, plumb level? Is that window needing to be shimmed? How are we waterproofing it? What's the operation? Even things that went a little bit sideways on a job site where maybe a window wasn't fitting correctly. Things that they needed to do on that job site to make these windows work. So it was really, that was like the cool moment for me. It's like, I love the design and I love people's homes and I love different window configurations and they look beautiful. But all of a sudden I took a lot of pride in understanding the construction aspect of it. Now, today, doing what I do, working with contractors and architects, walking those job sites is really, really enlightening too, because this is where I learn even more about our products at Sierra Pacific Windows, how they get installed, what the tracking system looks like, how they need to be shimmed in. I mean, we've got gorgeous timber curtain walls. That is next level when it comes to install. Taking myself to a job site and watching them install these products. That way, when I'm speaking about them, it's seamless. It's easy for me because I understand kind of the nitty gritty of it all.
Yeah. And I grew up in this industry because my dad had a lumber yard and we sold high-end aluminum clad windows to some places, but these doors that are being installed now did not exist back then.
Right.
So a lot of what you thought was, hey, just a pretty easy install job now, it strikes fear into the heart of contractors if they don't know what they're doing. And I think you as a person selling it should be educated on what to tell them if they have questions. And if you haven't ever been on a job site, that's impossible to do.
It is. And I know that Sierra Pacific Windows, we take a lot of pride in understanding the entire process, but a majority of who we're working with are high-end contractors, very skilled, talented, reliable contractors, as well as our architects. They have a really strong understanding of building science, what to prescribe in these openings. So that's where we come back to kind of full circle is being curious, right? I don't have to stand with a contractor and pretend that I know it all. It's like, hey, can you explain that to me? Or how did you guys get that, to work in the way that it did? Or I was just on a really high-end job site and was all of our structural mulling, really tight tolerances. And there's some frustration when it comes to installing those products. And just curious, like, how did this go? What could we have looked out for you, maybe differently for next time? And those are things that if you don't get out on the job site and get your shoes muddy, you're never going to learn.
So true.
You're going to learn enough to be able to promote a good product. Absolutely. And yourself and connect. But just think about if you can take it just a little bit deeper, and plus it's fun. You get to see how the sauce is made, right?
It's so beautiful to go walk these big jobs when they're finished too. And you get to see some exquisite things that, maybe I'll have a house like that one day, maybe not. But I definitely have walked through some that just, as a window and door nerd, take my breath away. It's like, man, this is so beautiful. I just love this. And it's on a lake or on a mountain or they're always somewhere beautiful usually. Well, I really have keyed in on something from you that I love the most is that you're not afraid to do things that you don't know how to do. And that always usually includes probably failing. I don't know your story so deeply to say like how many failures you've had, but anytime you're doing something, I like to call it out in the blue ocean by yourself where you've never done it before, there's a lot of failure that can happen and a lot of, judgment and embarrassment, all those things that come. But, how do you overcome that for someone maybe that's listening that's saying, well, I want to go do these things. I want to do the extra. I want to ask the questions. I want to be curious, but I don't want to look stupid, tell somebody maybe they've been in the role for a long time and they should be the one that can be the expert already, but they're not. How do you tell someone to go out there and just do it?
I think that's within you. There's some people that are going to be extreme risk takers. I wouldn't consider myself an extreme risk taker. It's like put it all on black, right? And don't look back. I wish I could do that, but there's a level of, I have to protect myself too, to not go too bold out there in the world. But, I think it's in you. I think it's something that can be taught. Aligning yourself with people that are like-minded and finding those people, I think is imperative to your success. They will catch your blind spots.
Yeah.
They're going to help you to remove those hurdles. And I will say, my time at Sierra Pacific Windows, I have that available to me. I'm very, very fortunate that my leadership and my peers give me that. So it's created a pretty smooth runway for me in my career. Now, is that something that our listeners are going to get? Maybe, maybe not. If you're not getting that or you're not feeling that, then you might have to step up to your own plate and take a good hard look at yourself and do whatever you need to do to remove your own hurdles.
Yeah, and there are so many resources out there now. I, as an entrepreneur, obviously, I grew up in an entrepreneurial household, but I was in a corporate job for a long time.
Yeah.
And then when I set out to be an entrepreneur, I needed to learn from other entrepreneurs. Yet, I'm working and doing all this. So YouTube and podcast and going to conferences and generally just talking to people that have done things that I'm trying to do.
Yes.
And that's something I think is important. You said Bridget was the one that kind of inspired you that you can do this with sales. Find the people that you want to emulate and just be around them and ask them anything, they'll answer. And then I don't try to ask questions from people that don't know how or haven't done what I'm trying to do if in that certain situation,
Sure. Yeah. And it's also true. You just kind of sparked something in me where, I tend to be a very positive person. So you would find that like my friend groups are pretty creative. When you put a lot of creative people together, it can get a little prickly or a little, tumultuous, but all in all, it's for the greater good of some sort of like art form or creative outlet. And I think that is evident in windows and doors too. So we can easily kind of align ourselves with maybe like negative talk or frustration. And we all have that on a day to day. Like this isn't picture perfect. This is construction, this is wood, and this is people.
Yeah.
And those three things sometimes don't align in the same day. And they can create some friction. But take yourself out of it when you're feeling kind of heavy and a little negative. Maybe ask yourself, like, what have my conversations been like this week or today? Or who have I been aligning with or going out for lunch with or spending time with? Maybe kind of break that cycle just for a little bit, bring it back to the positive aspects in your tribe, right? We all have our tribe at work. Just align yourself with them. It's going to completely change your mindset, especially when it comes to your selling practices.
We talked a little bit on the phone earlier about purpose and how important that is.
Yes.
And you talked about having a purpose. And one of the things you said that I thought was really a great point that sometimes we forget is when I think about purpose, I think most people, they think about this big thing that's like this giant save the world, cure cancer, I save all the puppies, whatever it is. And that's great. And I have purpose in my business and a lot of people have purpose in their careers. But you also mentioned having purpose in the small things.
Yeah.
And you said actually that some days you would have a purpose, like especially during hard times of just getting out and you're going to take a walk today.
Yep.
That's my purpose for today.
Yes.
What spurs that in you and what does purpose really mean to you? What do you think about when you think about your purpose?
I just got chills and I'm a very empathetic person, so I get a little emotional talking about this. But for me, I've had this beautiful big life and I've been able to share, a lot of great moments with people. Even like I said, sitting here today, we met 2 weeks ago and instantly connected. There's always an energy between myself and other people. And, for me, my purpose is when I wake up in the morning, and you can take this however you want, it's like, how do I want to show up for others today? Do I want to be inspiring? Do I want to be helpful? Do I want to be the shoulder they can cry on? And you have to ask yourself these things when you're showing up for your customers as well. Do I want to be an advocate for my contractor today? Do I want to be a creative for my designer today? Do I want to be tough for my customer today? And those things all can kind of weave in and out of your day. But for me, when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, how do I want to show up in this world today? Most of the time, I'm not saying I want to be a jerk or I want to be angry. I want to be happy. I want to be light and I want to be curious.
Yeah. And you see that very much in your day to day when you're operating. I mean, I've been with you twice now in 2 weeks, once at the International Builder Show, and then today here with the team at Sierra Pacific doing some training. That shows, and I think that's something that you can't really fake. And when you have a purpose, I think even on hard days, it's easier for you to continue. You can endure a lot if you're doing it for your purpose.
I agree.
And passion may wane, but if you're doing it for the purpose, even if it's something like what you just said, where it's intrinsically just about one day,
Yes,
it's worthwhile.
yes,
I love
agree.
that.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I want to ask you about Sierra Pacific, because this is a great company. I actually got acquainted with Sierra Pacific Industries back when I was at my two-step distribution job. We bought a lot of lumber from there, and I went to the plant and we toured I think it was in 2022.
Okay.
The small and large log plant.
Yes.
We got to hear the forester talk about the spotted owls and all the things. I'm like, why are there no animals here for this presentation? I was like, can we go to the forest, please?
Get a spotted owl like on our shoulder somehow.
And then we also toured the millwork facility. I did not get to go in the window plant, so I still need to do that.
Okay, we can make that happen.
It was an amazing experience.
Yeah.
Probably one of my favorite things I've ever done in my career. And I remember standing next to a tree that was 60 inches wide, and I took a picture. And Sierra Pacific has a lot of land in the U.S.
Yes.
So they are the largest private forest landowner in the U.S.
Correct.
It's over 2 million acres, right?
2.4 million acres.
2.4 million acres. The company was formed in 1949.
Correct.
And it has been family owned ever since.
Yes.
So the Emerson family still owns and operates. I remember they have their own software chip making area in the plant.
Ooh.
They have a mechanic shop I was blown away when I saw this place. Really amazing. And just the vibe with the people, you could tell they care about their employees. They care about the forest.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about Sierra Pacific, just your experience. I know you have a lot of sustainability stuff, which is almost unheard of in manufacturing today.
Yep.
So they have lumber. They have a lot of lumber.
Yes.
And they also have windows and doors. So tell me about the company and just what it's been like working with them.
Yeah, I think, we go out there and we tell the company story, our version of it. And for you, I mean, you just told a beautiful company story because you had the experience of being there, boots on the ground with our industries in that tour. So I couldn't have told it better myself. I think the sustainability it's a hot topic. It can be a little, controversial, if for lack of better terms, with what people consider sustainability. Just know that the bottom line is that our consumers, our users of our products, really appreciate knowing where their products are coming from. We have that vertical integration built into our business plan that really allows people to understand, like, the windows on my job site or that are going into our customers' homes are coming from our forest land.
So someone that doesn't know what vertical integration means in this context.
Yes.
It actually is from the seed to the window.
Correct.
Sierra Pacific is touching and maintaining and doing all of the work there. And this is a really cool fact that I love. Every single time you guys cut down a tree, because I remember when I was a little girl, I would hear people say, like, well, you sell lumber and you cut down trees and kill trees for a living. Like we were the Lorax or something.
Yes. No, it's true.
Or not the Lorax. We were the bad guy in the Lorax. I don't remember his name.
Yeah.
So that's not true.
No.
And you are actually sustaining the forest by cutting down trees in a responsible way.
Yes.
But you plant 3 tree seedlings for every one, usually, somewhere around that?
It's about that. Yeah. It'll vary depending on where we are on the forest floor. But we decided to create our own state-of-the-art nursery where we're actually making the seedlings. We're growing the seed. We're not making them. We're growing the seedlings.
So we got to get this on the books.
So that's something that was a kind of a missing puzzle piece for our company, and having that vertical integration, owning the process from beginning to end. It was one of those things. It's like, we need to create our own nursery. So then we're in control of our Doug fir and our ponderosa pine. So making the healthiest species that we possibly can.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yes.
Well, I hope that the company is around for a very long time, and I know they are planning it.
At least 100 years.
They have a 100-year plan.
Yep.
I love that, and I am excited to see what the next 15 or 20 years does with these products, because they're still just really coming. It's the fastest growing window company in the US.
Yep. Because of that vertical integration, the integrity of being family owned, 4th generation, the people that they bring on, our leadership, the sophistication of our engineering, the beauty of our products. I mean, it all starts to add up to a completely different experience when it comes to your windows and doors.
Yeah, and only 3% of businesses ever get to the 4th generation. And to get to 5th, it's 1% chance.
Wow, that's a stat I did not know.
Yeah, pretty epic. So it's great that they're doing it. And like I said, I would love to come see these plants in the nursery and hopefully a spotted owl or any other animal that you will show me.
I'm picturing you with like a beautiful spotted owl on your shoulder, and you've got these seedlings in your hand. Like, this is a whole moment.
I'm basically Mother Nature wearing a pink hat.
I love it.
Well, I want to ask you lightning round questions.
Okay.
We haven't talked about your music.
Yes.
So you are a drummer.
Correct.
I love it. We introed it a little bit. What is your favorite song to just absolutely hammer out on the drums?
Ooh, Iron Maiden.
Ooh.
The Trooper.
Okay.
Yes, I'm a metal rock girl by heart.
So you want to hear a fun fact that may blow your mind about me?
Tell me.
When I put on my glitter eyeshadow in the morning, a lot of times I'll listen to Rage Against the Machine.
Hell yeah. Let's go. Let's go.
I actually really love Killing in the Name, and it's my favorite. So,
That's
don't let this glitter eyeshadow fool you. These girls, we like it.
We're fierce.
All right. Next question. Fill in the blank. Grit is blank.
Incredible.
I love that. All right. If you weren't in windows and doors selling or helping people, what would you be doing right now?
I would be rocking out. I'd be on stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
As a drummer?
As a drummer.
I love it. And then last question for you. Tell me something that no one else in this building could say about themselves about you.
Well, I mean, I'd have to say the music.
Yeah.
No one in this building
No one else is a drummer.
plays the drums.
I don't think so.
Is a girl drummer, which is kind of fascinating.
And I looked up your band, and it's an alt rock band.
Yes.
And you have a new album coming out soon?
March 20th.
I love it. And you have concerts. You guys have videos. Y'all are like legit. We were checking it out. And you have 4 girls in the band?
So it's an all-girl band, and then we have a male singer. So there's no other outfit out there that follows that.
You took it and reversed it.
We reversed it.
Yeah, you took Stevie and just said, heck with that. We're going the opposite way.
Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you.
Well, if you ever want to stand in a female singer.
Girl, I already got you in mind for another project, because if 1 or 2 music projects aren't enough, you add a 3rd one.
Oh,
I mean, why not?
That is a problem with creatives. You mentioned it could get a little crazy. There's nothing like a bunch of people that are musical trying to get in a room and figure out what to do.
I love it. I love it.
Well, you have really blown my mind the last 2 weeks, and I just am so grateful that, I don't know, I walked up to you at IBS and was like, hey, who are you? Can you film these videos?
I love it.
And that's
how friendship started. It's like, hey, who are you? I want to know. Let's talk about bridge. Hey, who are you? I want to know how you sell windows. And here we are today. Like, it's just wild how things get you on a path, and then you're sitting here like, how did this happen?
And how a person and their energy can attract. That's so important, I think, in life. And you have such a great energy.
So do you.
Well, I wish you all the success in the world. I feel like this is the beginning of a conversation, not the end. But this is the end of this episode of the Grit Blueprint podcast. So thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Stephanie.
And we will see you on our next episode. Thank you for listening to the Grit Blueprint podcast. If this episode helped you think a little differently about how to show up, share it with someone in your building world who needs it. If you're ready to turn visibility into growth, then head to gritblueprint.com to learn more and book a call to talk to us about your growth strategy. Until next time, stay unmistakable.